Today on UHS 63, we're going to review the first episode of Superman and Lois and an additional roleplay tips for superhero games. Before I get much further, there's going to be spoilers, and if there's something I missed, which I'm sure there's plenty in here because there's a lot of deep dives from the comics and the films as well, put it in the comments below. If you like the video, give it a like and subscribe, and let me know if you want to see more of these videos, because it lets me know what you like, what you want, and we can continue this series or end it if you want to see something else. First, we'll go with reviewing the main cast, and forgive me about the pronunciation. Tyler Hoechlin as Clark Kent, Elizabeth Tulich as Lois Lane, Jordan Elas as Jonathan Kent, and Alex Garfin as Jordan Kent. The beginning is like almost every superhero story. It's the boring origin. But unlike others, this was done really well. It was done really short. It didn't take up a lot of time. This was really quick. He came to Earth. He had a small town life at Smallville. His father dies. Unlike in the others, Martha dies in this. Also goes into the birth of their two boys and leads right into the main plot of the story. In the progress of going through the origin, it also goes through the relationship, though very quickly, of Lois and Clark Kent, how they met, and how they're both successful reporters for the Daily Planet. Lois more so, she appears to be the breadwinner of the two, since Clark's always going off, on these missions as Superman. The two boys are twins, and they're polar opposites. I hate to call it a trope, but kind of feels this way in this story. With Jonathan Kent as the high school jock. He just said he got on varsity team. He's a freshman, and it's never happened before. So does he have powers? Kind of feels like he might. We'll discuss that later as it goes later on in the story. And then we have the latter, which is Jordan Kent, who has the social anxiety disorder. This is starting to be a trope in stories now. I mean, mental illness is a serious thing, and it should be depicted more, but it's almost overload on shows now, so take it for what you will. I hope they do it. I hope they do the character justice with this mental illness and dealing with that and how the family deals with it. It feels like they're doing so well so far, but we're only one episode in. After the death of Martha Kent, there's a funeral. They come back to Smallville, and they meet up with Lana Lang and her husband, who is the fire chief, just became fire chief of Smallville. And they have two daughters, Sarah and Sophie, and one of which appears to be going to be a love interest for Jordan, which will prove interesting with his social anxiety. And then General Sam Lane informs Superman about an explosion that's going to be occurring at a nuclear plant, which he comes in and, of course, saves the day. And there's a message of Kryptonian, and then it goes back to the farm where Jonathan and Jordan just get injured while trying to get the router working for their computers and so forth. And of course they are unharmed, and then Kal-El, their dad, has to reveal who he is. And in doing so, they discover his pod underneath the floorboards of the barn. And when he hears commotion back at the nuclear plant, he goes back there, and he is confronted by the stranger, which, come to find out, it's a individual calling himself Captain Luthor from an alternate Earth. So this will prove interesting, especially after the Flashpoint crossover event, how this is all going to play out later.